who gave different macroeconomic theories. So here I won't be discussing any of these theories in detail. I'm just here to tell you who gave these theories. So in many papers, this question comes. They are giving you 4 options. You have to mark which option is correct. That is this the person who gave this theory? Is that the person who gave this theory? Or there is some match the following. So there, this might be a little useful. Classical theory of output and employment. So you have to understand one thing, that uh, classicals, they do not have a coherent macroeconomic theory as such. They have not worked on one single monolithic theory which you can call as a classical economic theory, nor they have published any theory of national income determination. They have certain classical postulates which or ideas, you can say, uh, on the macroeconomic issues, like wages and prices will be flexible, market is going to be in full employment. In case if there is any deviation from the full employment, then this wage price flexibility is going to take care of that. And basically your ideas of Smith, Ricardo, and Mill. That was absolute income hypothesis. Absolute income hypothesis is what your consumption theory. It is given by Keynes. He says that consumption is determined by individual's income. So in case if there is an increase in income, there is going to be an increase in consumption, right? Then you have relative income hypothesis. Now, relative income hypothesis is that my consumption is not driven only by my income, but relatively what other people are also consuming, or what is the relative income of the people around me. So this is given by James Dusenberry. Permanent income hypothesis. Permanent income hypothesis, again, is the consumption theory in which the idea is that in case if there is going to be an increase in income, right? If there is a transitory increase in income, I may not be affected much by it. I will not change my consumption as such. So if there is an increase, I'm more interested in the long-term increase in income. That is going to affect my consumption, not any transitory increase in income. That is what the permanent income hypothesis is, and this is given by Milton Friedman. Life cycle hypothesis is my consumption and savings behavior is dependent upon my expected income over my lifetime, and I would want to smoothen out my consumption throughout. So there'll be periods in my life in which I won't be working, I won't be earning any income. So I'll be dependent upon the income which I would have earned in the working life. So I'll be dissaving at that time. And during my working life, I'll be saving. So given by Franco Modigliani. Random walk theory of consumption. So random walk theory of consumption is basically that consumption pattern which the individual will have. I mean, it is random, right? It follows the random or unpredictable path. And this is given by Robert Hall. Tobin-Q theory of investment. Basically, the market value of assets. I'll be comparing the market value of asset and the replacement cost of this. So in case of the market value is more than the replacement cost, I think, fine, this is a good investment, I should be investing. So this is what my Tobin-Q's theory of investment given by Tobin-Q, right? So then you have quantity theory of money. So generally what we are going to say is that the price level in the economy is generally determined by the level of money supply in the economy. So in case of the money supply is going to increase, prices are going to increase. Fisher has given this, and Friedman has also reinstated this, right? Reformulated quantity theory of money. MV equals to PY. M is money supply, V is velocity of money, P is price level, Y is output or income. Portfolio theories of money demand given by James Tobin, Baumol-Tobin model. So instead of money, or there are other models also apart from that, instead of money, you can invest in various other assets too. So there is a risk return choice in that. So that is going to make a difference to the money demand. So should you be investing in those assets, or should you keep your money as money only? Depending on the risk return which you have, depending on the risk and return which you have. Right? Okay. ISLM model, Hicks and Hansen. IS is your goods market equilibrium, downward sloping. LM is upward sloping money market equilibrium. There, where the two markets are going to be simultaneously in equilibrium is that level of output and interest rate, ISLM. We have done this in detail, all about this. Then you have monetarism. Monetarism is that it is the money supply has the main role in maintaining the economic activity and the growth. In case if you want to have the inflation to be stable, you should have a stable money growth. That was one idea. So there are two things. One, role of money supply in influencing economic activity. That is one thing. Second thing is that stable growth of money supply is required for stable inflation. So in case if money supply is going to increase drastically, there is going to be more inflation. Monetarism. Rational expectations. Rational expectations is basically when the different, say for example, I want to predict the value of certain variable next year, like for example, prices. So I won't be looking only on the data of prices. I will also be looking on the data of many other variables which might affect the prices. So I'll use all information which is available in order to make the prediction for next year. So that is what rational expectations is. John Mote. Then you have new classical economics. So new classical economics, it emphasized the importance of the role of rational expectations, your market efficiency, role of individuals' behavior in determining the economic outcomes, given by Lucas, Sargent, Prescott. Neoclassical growth model. Neoclassical growth model, basically your Solo-Swan model. You've done this in detail. Again, it's an economic growth model. Endogenous growth theory. Again, we have done this in detail about the Romer's model of endogenous growth, right? So what are the other factors which can affect the growth theory? Endogenous growth theory. Open economy macro. Mundell-Fleming. Again, you know this in you very well know this, that how the exchange rate, your interest rate, and output are going to be determined. So there is a simultaneous equilibrium which is found out through IS-LM and BP curve. So in IS-LM you have two equations. Here you have three equations: IS-LM and BP. Supply side economics. So supply side economics is emphasizing the role of supply side in determining the economic output, right? Increasing the productivity, boosting the productive capacity of the economy. And it emphasizes that you have to reduce the barriers to production. You have to incentivize investment and innovation. All of this advocated by Arthur Laffer. So this is not a complete video on different macroeconomics. This is just to help you for a particular kind of question. That is, if they ask you who gave these theories, so you have to match or you have to mark the correct option. It is for that, right? I hope it was of some use to you, right? Thank you, Vita. Who gave different theories in international trade? So sometimes we get this kind of question that we are given with the theory and you have to tell who actually gave this theory in terms of MCQ or match the following. So for that kind of question, this recording might be of some use to you. So absolute advantage theory. So what is an absolute advantage theory? One, this was given by Adam Smith. So supposedly you and I are there and you are very good in making commodity X and I'm very good in making commodity Y. You can produce more amount of X in a given amount of time than what I can make of X. And I can make more amount of Y than you in a given time. So I have an absolute advantage in Y and you have an absolute advantage in X. So this is what the absolute advantage theory is. And here there is a situation in which the trade is going to help us because I can concentrate only on making the good in which I have absolute advantage. You can concentrate on making the good in which you have absolute advantage, and we can trade with each other. We can produce more than what we were producing earlier. So there are gains from trade, right? Then comparative advantage theory comes. It says this, that there can be a situation in which I have absolute advantage in both the commodities and you have absolute disadvantage in both the commodities, but there still is a room because there still is a room for trade, because I can focus on the commodity in which I have a lesser opportunity cost, and you can focus on the commodity in which you have lesser opportunity cost. So by that we will be trading. Although I have absolute advantage in both of them, but still there is a room for trade. So this theory was given by David Ricardo. And then there's a theory by Haberler, theory of opportunity cost. This is built up on Ricardo's theory only, and he has focused on the gains from trade, from comparative advantage, welfare gains, and so on. Heckscher-Ohlin theorem. So Heckscher-Ohlin theorem says what? It says this, that supposedly I am one country which has a lot of labor. You are the another country which in your country there is a lot of capital. So you will be producing more of the good which is going to use capital more intensively. I will be producing more of that good which will be producing labor more intensively, and then we will trade. This is what Heckscher-Ohlin theorem is. Factor price equalization theorem. So what does factor price equalization theorem tells you? Factor price equalization theorem tells you that supposedly there are two countries. Let's say country A and country B. Country A can produce more amount of some good, let's say X, at in the lesser time. Country B is using its own labor, so it is producing lesser amount of goods. Naturally, in country A, people can produce more goods in less time, na? So they are productive. When they are productive, they will be getting higher wages. In country B, people are producing less amount in the same time, so they are less productive, they'll be getting lesser wages. Now, entrepreneurs in country A might think it is better to use labor from country B because it is asking for less wages. So it will be demanding workers from country B, or it will be shifting some of its production to country B. I'm just giving an example. So what will happen is that demand for labor in country B is going to increase. The moment demand for labor in country B is going to increase, the wages are going to increase. What about country A? In country A, because entrepreneurs have shifted their production in country B, the demand for labor has fallen. So wages have started reducing. So earlier, wages were higher in country A, lower in country B. Now what has happened is that wages have started falling in country A and they have started increasing in country B. So that is what the factor price equalization theorem is, right? New trade theory, economies of scale theory. So this was given by Krugman. See, your traditional trade theories, they focused on resource endowments. They focused on comparative advantage. But new trade theories, they also bring in the concept of economies of scale. So the idea is that when the firms can produce more, what they experience is that there is a fall in their average cost of production. When there is a fall in the average cost of production, then because of the lower cost, they can ask for the lower price. More customers will come, and they can probably dominate the entire market, global market also at sometimes. So this explains the reason why the trade can also happen because of economies of scale. Why can there be certain industries concentrated in certain kind of areas only, right? So that is what new trade theory is, given by Krugman. Product life cycle theory, given by Vernon. Now, in the product life cycle theory, the idea was supposedly I create some product. That's a new product. And because I have created a new product, there is a lot of demand for this. People wanted it and they bought it. Now what happens is, this is the growth phase. Now, other competitors come into the market. They copy the same product. The product is still in demand, but the sales have leveled off. So there is a maturity phase. And then there is a decline phase. Why? Because people know the new and the better products have come into the market. So there is a decline phase for a particular product. Some other countries have started producing a better product. Now, how is this related to international trade? For example, there is one country who has produced a certain kind of a product. and this was a very good product. There was a demand for this product. So that country was producing it mainly. But then other countries have started copying this product. When other countries have started copying this product, the product enters a maturity phase. Sales have leveled off. But then the sales started decline in the main country, in the innovative country. So the product pattern has shifted from the main innovative country to the competitor's country. So there is a shift in the product pattern also, product distribution, product pattern. So this is what the your product lifecycle model is. Preference similarity hypothesis. Now, what is preference similarity hypothesis? Supposedly you and I are friends, and we like a certain product. So we like a certain product, if we like to go to a certain kind of movies, similar kind of movies. So you and I will spend more time together. How it is helpful in international trade? Supposedly in your country as well as in my country, the kind of the demand pattern which people have, they have the similar demand pattern. They are demanding same kind of goods. So don't you think you and I will trade more with each other in the similar way as when you and I were friends and we were going to watch similar kind of movies together? So that is what your preference similarity hypothesis is in very, very simple terms. And this is what this was given by Linder. Rybczynski theorem. So Rybczynski theorem tells you what? Supposedly, in my country, there are different kinds of resources which are available. There are labor, there are capital. And what happens is that there is an increase in labor. Now, when there is an increase in labor, then I will be producing more of that good, which is producing more, which is using more labor, right? So if there is an increase in the endowment of the factor in my country, I'll be producing more of that good, right? So for example, there is a factory, and in that factory, two kinds of goods are being produced. And in one kind of good, there is a certain kind of labor is being used. In another kind of good, there is labor B type is being used. Now, there is an increase in the endowment of labor A, type of labor A. So you will naturally be producing more of the good which is using labor A kind of labor, right? And less of that good which is using labor B kind of labor. So this is in nutshell is Rybczynski theorem is. So if your endowment of the factor is increasing, you'll be producing more of that good which is using this factor more intensively. Metzler paradox. So what is Metzler paradox telling you? Metzler paradox is telling you this, that supposedly I'm one country, you are another country. I'm giving a very simple example. Supposedly, I have a certain kind of a diamond with me. It's a very, very valuable diamond. And you have another kinds of diamond. And so you are saying, okay, give me this one diamond. I will give you 100 diamonds in return, which you have. I say, fine, in place of one, I'm getting 100. So I'll take those diamonds from you. No, but what I realize is that even though I have more diamonds now, but their value is less. What I have given to you is such a specialized thing that its value is more, but what I'm getting in return is of less value. The point of this example is that sometimes what can happen is that even with trade, it does not guarantee that there is always going to be a benefit. So there is a Metzler paradox. There is a paradox that even if I'm specializing in the kind of the product in which I have a comparative advantage, I can still lose. I can still lose because I can still become worse off because I can experience a decrease in terms of trade. This is what Metzler paradox is telling me, right? In a very simple terms, I have tried to explain this to you. Immeasurizing growth. This concept was given by Jagdish Bhagwati. He said this, okay, imagine a situation that we are living in a country in which we are specializing in one kind of a product, let's say textiles. And government has also taken up this policy that we are going to boost the textile sector, and there'll be more textiles will be there in the market. Okay, fair enough. So the government policy is there, and there more textiles are being produced and they are being exported. Everyone is happy because our exports are increasing, we are producing more. But what happens is that there is a possibility that we can flood the entire global market with our textiles so much that the prices of textiles will actually go down. And when the prices will go down, my incomes will go down. Although my exports are more, although I'm producing more, but I'm getting no welfare. My welfare has decreased. My income has decreased. So there will be job losses. So the idea is that with economic growth, there can also be the situation that my welfare, instead of increasing, might start falling. In a very simple terms, this is what immiserizing growth is. Secular deterioration hypothesis. Now, secular deterioration hypothesis is what it says this. So imagine my country is producing a certain kind of product. It had a lot of demand initially, and we were exporting this product. We were getting a lot of value from the market, from the other countries also. But now other countries have started competing with us, and they have started producing the similar kind of product which we were producing. So the prices of the product will fall over time. And if the prices of the product which I was exporting, they are going to fall, then my country is going to lose. In very simple terms, this is what secular deterioration. In technical terms, it means supposedly I'm a developing country. I was a primary product exporter. So what happens is that over time, the country's terms of trade will decline as as the as the value of the primary products, they are going to fall relative to the manufactured goods, and I'm going to experience the fall in the welfare. In very simple terms, this was given by Prebish and Singer, right? So these were not technical definitions. I've just tried to give you some idea so that some idea remains in your head. So these are not technical definitions of any of these theorems. And mainly, I wanted to make this recording just to tell you who were the persons who were behind these theories, who gave these different theories. So I hope it was of some use to you. Thank you, Vita.